Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Talk Topic City. I'm your host, Eric, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in and joining us today. I know I say that every time I do a new episode, but I really mean it. And it's a very special episode, not only for me, but hopefully for you guys as well. As you can see, I have a guest on my channel for the very first time, and it's an exciting opportunity for both of us. And I'd like to introduce you to Dakota. He's my instructor, podcast instructor as well. He helps out with my podcast, with music, and
Awesome podcast.
you know, yes, and he's helped me out a lot, and I appreciate everything that he's done. So, this is Dakota.
Yeah, hey everybody. It's really nice to be a guest on the channel. Honestly, it's been really cool to watch Talk Topic City grow because it seems like you have such a clear vision for what you want to share with the world, but also the kind of like fun energy you want to bring out in your channel, and it's just hopefully it just goes up and up and up with the viewers, and can't wait to hear what you bring out next.
Yes, I really appreciate it. I really enjoy getting my stuff out there, my messages, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a learning process, but it's been great, and I'm happy to be here and happy to learn more about podcasting.
Heck yeah, well,
yes.
You're a natural. So.
Yes, thank you. So without further ado, let's get into the meat and the potatoes of this episode. And
Right.
hopefully you guys are still with us and you guys haven't hit the eject button, so just bear with us. Without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm going to ask you some questions and feel free to answer in any way that you want and how you're comfortable with it. So
Yeah, we'll do it back and forth. So like I'll answer and then you'll answer too.
yeah, absolutely. I think it's great to share both perspectives on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm gonna read off some questions here. So here we go. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Bay Area in San Jose. So when my mom bought our house, it was surrounded by orchards. It was all fields. And now our house is like right next to Google. It's right next to Netflix, and it's all developed. And so it doesn't really feel like my home anymore. It feels like a whole different place.
So have you been back there to like visit?
Yeah. So I think that the Bay Area and like San Jose in particular has this feeling nowadays that everyone there is kind of waiting to get famous. And now nowadays it's almost like LA, because in LA, everyone's waiting to get famous in entertainment, but in San Jose, everyone's waiting to get famous with the next app. So it's got a very different feeling to it nowadays. But it was definitely interesting to grow up and watch all of the tech appear and all of the tech companies start. I remember wondering, like, what's a Google? And nowadays, everybody knows what Google is. So I definitely have a strange experience with that. But how about you? Where did you grow up?
I was actually born and raised in Sacramento, so I've been here my whole life.
It's a good place.
My parents, they lived in Monterey for a little while, but this was before I was around, unfortunately, because like we've been back there to visit like a few times, and it's a wonderful place. It's really cool. The people are nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born and raised here. I went to high school around here. I've made some good friends here in Sacramento. My experience has been okay. There's been some ups, there's been some downs, but I think it's like that, everywhere. So
yeah, definitely. There's some goods and bads to Sacramento, but something that I actually thought was funny was I went to school in Santa Cruz, and something that I always say is that Sacramento and Santa Cruz have a very similar social energy, that people are going at like a slower pace than, for example, like San Francisco or San Jose, because in those places it feels like everybody's rushing. Like, oh, I got to get to this meeting, or oh, I got to get to the grocery store. I only have 5 minutes to shop or whatever. But here it feels like people are going like a little bit slower, and so you can actually take a breath. So at least that's what's, what they have in common. So your parents kind of lucked out moving from Monterey to Sacramento.
Right, and that makes a lot of sense because one day my sister, she was in San Francisco, and I was with her because she wanted to show where she worked at. Wanted me to see it. And which was nice of her. And I can remember like what you were talking about, the whole active part in San Francisco, like everybody's rushing because like I spent the night in the car and the funny thing is though, it's like, like around 2-3 o'clock, I see a whole bunch of people like outside and getting ready for their business meeting. I saw people in briefcases, so everybody's like
At 2 in the morning.
yeah, like
Oh,
constantly
no.
like on the go. I do remember that. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's intense there for sure.
Yes, yes. And then my next question: do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert or both?
That's a hard question. So, I definitely consider myself extroverted, but I think even extroverted people need time to recharge. So, I'll be like very energetic at a party, and people wouldn't really catch me, um, you know, feeling like too overwhelmed at a party. But as soon as the party stops, I'm just like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna sleep for like 2 whole days, So I'm pretty extroverted, but I definitely feel it, how much social energy I'm using. So how about you?
I would say I'm an introvert, like through and through. It's just the type of lifestyle that I've lived. Like, I don't mind going out. It's not like I'm antisocial or anything like that. It's just like, I get nervous, I guess, around like big crowds. But that also depends on like what I'm doing. Like, for example, SAC anime. Like, I love cosplay, I love anime, and that's an extroverted activity, right? Because there's like a lot of people around, and an introvert, like, well, but
even just talking to the people you're buying stuff at a convention, I feel like it's such a personal connection, because you'll be seeing some art that's so exciting that you'll be like, oh my gosh, I love that character or something, and it ends up taking more social energy from you than you might even realize.
right.
Yeah.
But I think the thing with me is that, like, if it's something that you enjoy, like for me, since it's like anime, and it's really cool to see so many people have a passion for the same hobby you have, I would feel comfortable, as opposed to like if I was at a party, if I was at a club, like,
or
like
a
you
fraternity or something like that.
yes, and you see it all the time in like movies. If you're with your boys, one night, right? Eventually, they're not there to hold your hand.
Yeah,
They're gonna want to try to find someone to be with. So I would be the type of guy that I would just sit there. It's like, okay, I'll be sitting here drinking a ginger ale because I can't dance to save my life. I got 2 left feet. I don't have any rhythm.
And it's so hard to find a social opening, even with someone you just want to be friends with. You're just like, hey, nice shoes.
Right.
What do you even say?
So, yeah. So like, I just wouldn't feel comfortable in that situation.
So do you opt more to stay like at home, or only hang out with like one person at a time instead of like a big group?
Yeah, I think so. I think it depends. I have no problem like being at home by myself, but I think that's a lot to do with the introvert. But like it's not fair to like stereotype introverts, because not sometimes that's not always accurate. But in my case, like, I have no problem like staying home, being by myself. But I also like to go out. It's just that my idea of fun, maybe not going to clubs, maybe not going to parties or drinking.
Yeah.
I like doing the simple things. So
Something to think about too is nowadays introverts are also finding other social avenues. Like, for example, my roommate is super introverted, but he spends like all day long playing like Baldur's Gate 3 or Dead by Daylight, and he's like talking with his friends on Discord. So he's like socializing, but he's in his own room, he's in his own space, he's not on a video. They're just hearing his voice. So it's like he's getting social interaction, but he's not using as much energy as he would be in a room with these people. So I feel like that's like a middle ground that people can find to not necessarily be stuck alone all the time if they don't really want to leave their room. So
yeah,
technology's cool.
Absolutely, that makes sense. I saw a video about where they feel overwhelmed and they just want to be surrounded by comfortable settings like your room. Mm-hmm. You're so familiar with that. You just need to reboot and recharge because you're so overwhelmed. So it's a lot, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Me being an introvert, I think it's just how I am.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So my next question is, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy? That's such a big question. So
yes.
I think what makes me happy is balance, because I do so many types of art, and I love to consume lots of different types of art. Like, I love going to museums, I love watching movies, listening to music. I need time to do all the different things I enjoy doing. I love reading, I love biking, I love going out to the club, I love all these different things that are, totally different settings. So if I don't feel like I have had like a little sampler platter of all of those things, every so often, I start feeling like unbalanced. And so for me, I think like real happiness is finding time to have like that sample of everything I really like to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, what about you?
I think happiness is what you make it. It just depends on like how do you define happiness? People define it in different ways. Like for me, it's just enjoying the simple things. Like I like hanging out with my friends. I have some. I don't have a lot, but I have some.
That's good. That's good.
So that's always a good thing. Cosplay makes me happy. I recently got into it. I wish I started a few years before, but better late than never.
Yeah. What about it though? What about cosplay?
I just think it's just so cool to like you get to dress up as these characters and like suddenly you become the character and like getting compliments from people, starting conversations with people. For example, like I'm dressing up as Spider-Man, right? And there's other Spider-Mans and people go like, just like on the movie.
The meme.
Yeah, and it's just so cool. It's just a great conversation to get everybody involved. So I think, cosplay brings a lot of people together. Obviously, good food. Coffee.
That's a big one on my list too.
Yes, and definitely coffee. Me being a college student, I need my coffee, and Dutch Brothers have made me very happy, and it's helped me out a lot. So coffee, video games, so just simple stuff like that.
One thing I think is like, so long as you feel like the thing is giving you joy, but that you don't necessarily need it, like especially with coffee because it can be addictive. Just keeping that relationship with it good, like I like this thing, but I don't need it to be happy. I feel like it's a good balance to have too.
Right. Good point. Yes, I agree with you. I guess for my case, like it's a necessity more than a happiness. Like I do enjoy it, but I only drink it like when I feel sluggish and when I feel tired, when I have to write a lot of essays, unfortunately, and I have to do reading, which I'm a slow reader, but
you're taking these awesome classes.
Yeah.
You're taking classes that you're specifically interested in, so hopefully that helps it be easier to read.
Absolutely. So yeah, happiness is at the end of the day, I think happiness is what you make it to be. Going to the gym also is another bonus.
yeah, that's part of my balance too. Like if I don't feel like I've gotten my body moving and my heart going, then I feel like I'm turning into like a pillar of salt, where I'm like stuck. I need to move.
Yes. And my last question here is, I guess it's like off script a little bit, but different. So poke fun at it any way that you will.
Okay,
but
right.
If you were to have the Earth's Dragon Balls, Dragon Ball Z reference,
and
you get 3 wishes, so what would those wishes be and why, if you can explain that?
Yeah, it's honestly hard because I feel like in my life I have so much of what I want and need. So I think for me, those wishes would probably be like for the world to be more balanced as well. I would probably wish for everybody to have the resources they need, like food, water, safety from like natural disasters and the extreme heat. So like basically just people having like a baseline level of safety, like everybody in the world being safe. And then I probably would wish for a swimming pool with like a bunch of otters swimming around in it, but also specific otters that do not bite, because a lot of otters bite. So I would go swimming with otters for sure. And then you said one more wish?
Yeah, if you can't think of any other ones, then that's okay.
Swimming pool otters is like, to me, that's like the ultimate. But, if I'm going to wish for a third wish, I'm going to wish for a pina colada while I swim with the otters.
That's nice.
What about you? What did you wish for?
I think the obvious thing would be wealth, obviously. But not only for myself, but to take care of my family, to take care of my friends, people who've been there for me. I always believed in helping those who help you. So it's kind of like a paying it forward, in a way. I feel like that's so important.
Are you going to be like that Sanford and Sons episode where he wins the lottery and then the ladies come into him like, oh, my hip hurts?
That is funny. I think for me, it has to come from a place of sincerity and like what's in my heart. Like a coffee shop, or like you've seen those videos where like they give out like an insane tip, and I think that'd be so cool
yeah.
because we never know
like
what.
some Mr. Beast video.
Yes, because you never know what these like workers are going through. They go through so much in their lives, and just to brighten up their day with a tip, it's a great feeling. So paying it forward. So wealth would be my first wish. My second wish, this is hard. I thought about this for a while, but
Just, now you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go what's in my gut.
yeah. So I think for me, perhaps this may be odd, but maybe turning into a Super Saiyan would be cool.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, turning into a Super Saiyan, and then like my last wish is for
oh wait, no, Kamehameha is as Street Fighter, right?
No,
Kamehameha.
Dragon Ball. Yeah, that's from Dragon Ball Z. Goku can use that Kamehameha. Gohan. Yamcha has used it.
Lost. I got
yes,
it.
yes.
I'm an anime nerd, but like I only know the entry level like Dragon Ball stuff. So
yeah, well, Dragon Ball Z is a great show. It is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
The art's really cool. I love Dragon Quest personally. It has the same artist, so I'm familiar with the art.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's 2 wishes, right?
Yes, so I have
Super Saiyan and you want money.
Wealth. Yes, wealth. And then my last wish is happiness around the world. There's so much negativity that's going on in this world, and everything is so uncertain, with inflation and gas prices and all of that. And I want everybody to not only have happiness, but a peace of mind and joy, and that all their resources are taken care of.
Yeah, I just went to the gas station on Monday, and gas was $6.30, and I swear last week it was $4. Anyway, I almost left my car there. I was almost like, what do I do? So it's true. It's stressful. So
yeah,
I just want people to have their stress level go down.
Yes, absolutely. And like to piggyback on what you said about the gas prices, I saw, I think it was in Los Angeles, and I shared it with my sister, and like it was over $7 a gallon, and it just
LA
makes you want to pull your hair out.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware, but this current economy right now, in the past like couple of months, we've had 20% increases in inflation. But back in 2008, that was the last recession we had. It was so much less. I can't remember the exact number, but I think it was only 12% inflation. Whereas right now we're having 20% inflation on like eggs and gas and just everything. So hold on, everybody. We can get through it.
Yeah, just I think the biggest thing is just to have support. And I mean, we live in a world where it's so much pressure to be successful. I think we're all into like materialistic things, like when it comes to hopefully I'm not offending anybody, but when it comes to like dating, it's not about like connecting, it's not about getting to know people. It's more of like, oh, well, what can you do for me? What do you have? Oh, do you still live with your parents at a certain age? And like they'll calculate in their head, and they're like, well, this person really can't provide for me, so next, goodbye. Like that TV show, next. So it's really sad and unfortunate, but
yeah. And I mean, I try to live like without being super materialistic, but living in our society, especially in the U.S., like it's impossible to not think about that stuff.
Yeah. So everybody, I think, deserves a chance to be successful, and we all deserve a chance to be at a place that we absolutely enjoy what we're doing. So my takeaway for you guys and all of this is just to find something that you love, find something that you're passionate about. And it's not easy because it can take.
Super Saiyan.
Yes, being a Super Saiyan would be awesome.
Yeah, find it in any way. You want to be Super Saiyan, like get an awesome cosplay made and
awesome. Yes.
Do things that Super Saiyans would do, like make sure people feel safe and fight on the moon or something. Yes,
and just find something you're passionate about. Find
absolutely.
Joy. It may take a while. It may take self-reflection, but I know that once we all find something that we love, then we can continue to like move forward. It's like it's something to be excited about
and grow yourself. Like,
absolutely.
Grow outside of that limited like, oh, I need money, I need watches, I need Lamborghinis, all that.
Yeah, it's baby steps. We all want to be successful. Everybody has their own pace, and just take things at your own pace, but also try to be productive also at the same time.
Good way to summarize it.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, that will conclude this episode. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening, and I want to thank my special guest, Dakota. Thank you for taking the time to doing this. I really appreciate it.
Honestly, it was an honor to be on your channel. I'm really excited to see how it continues in the future.
Yes, thank you so much. And do you have any like social media presence that people will want to find you, or if they're interested in learning more about you?
Yeah, so I personally make music under Snortrax. It's SNORTRAX. You can find me like on Instagram and TikTok and whatever. Snortrax Art. If it's not Snortrax, it'll be Snortrax Art. So yeah, check me out if you want to, and definitely keep following Eric's stuff because he's got some really good things going on in here. So
yes, thank you. And you can also find me on, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. The channel is called TalkTopicsCity, and you guys can find me all there. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for joining us.
Talk
And
City.
you guys stay blessed, and peace out, everyone. Take care.